In the spring of 1944, Nazi intelligence confirmed that one of Britain's most dangerous double agents had died in a plane crash off the coast of Spain. They stopped watching him. They trusted his replacement completely, and that replacement was actually the same man, very much alive. And for the next 6 months, he fed Hitler false intelligence that moved entire German armies away from Normandy on the morning of D-Day. This is the story of Juan Pujol García, the spy who saved D-Day by convincing Hitler he was already dead. This is the story of Juan Pujol García, codenamed Agent GARBO, the spy who saved D-Day by convincing Hitler and German high command he was already dead. He was just a hotel manager who hated fascism and wanted desperately to fight the Nazis, but no one would let him. Britain refused his offer to spy for them twice because they did not trust him or his claims. So Garcia did something extraordinary. He decided to become a spy anyway, without permission, without training, without any help. So Garcia did something truly extraordinary and unprecedented. He decided to become a spy anyway, without any official permission, without any professional training, without any help from anyone. They believed him completely, gave him invisible ink, code names, and detailed instructions for secret communications. They told him to go to London and start reporting immediately, but Garcia never went to London at all. He went to Lisbon, Portugal instead, and from a library pretended he was in London using tourist guides and magazines. From these tourist sources and reference materials, he invented an entire elaborate spy network out of thin air with complete fabricated details and fictional identities. He created fake sub-agents with names, personalities, and locations across Britain, and none of them existed anywhere in reality. He sent the Germans detailed reports about British troop movements, factory production, and military plans, all completely made up. And the Germans believed every single word he sent them without question or verification. But Garcia made mistakes, reporting things that were obviously wrong, like British locations that did not exist. British intelligence intercepted his messages to Germany through code breaking and realized what he was trying to do on his own. They brought him to London, not to arrest him for deception, but to recruit him officially for British intelligence. MI5 gave him a code name, Agent GARBO, because the Germans already trusted him and now he would work for Britain. MI5 gave him an official code name, Agent GARBO, because the Germans already trusted him completely through his earlier work, and now he would work exclusively for Britain and the Allies. Sailors, secretaries, soldiers, businessmen, an entire phantom organization that existed only in his reports and German intelligence files. The intelligence he sent was carefully crafted by MI5 handlers, 90% true, 10% lethally false. Enough truth to keep the Germans trusting him completely. Enough lies to move their armies exactly where the Allies wanted. But in 1943, Garcia faced a crisis that could have ended everything he had carefully built. He had invented a sub-agent in Liverpool who supposedly watched Allied convoys leaving port every single day. Garcia reported that this agent had warned him about a major convoy preparing to sail, intelligence so important Germany should act immediately. But Garcia deliberately delayed sending the message until after the convoy had already sailed safely, so the warning arrived too late. The Germans were furious and demanded to know why their most valuable agent had failed them so badly. Garcia sent back a message so brilliant, it cemented his position forever with German intelligence leadership. He told them his Liverpool agent had died, collapsed from overwork while trying to get the warning through in time. He wrote that the man had sacrificed his health for the Nazi cause, and his death was on their hands for not acting faster. The Germans apologized profusely. They sent money for the agent's widow, a widow who did not exist for a man who had never lived. Garcia had not just saved his cover, he had made the Germans trust him even more than before the crisis. Garcia had not just successfully saved his cover from total exposure, he had actually made the Germans trust him even more deeply than before the crisis had occurred. The Allies were planning to invade Europe at Normandy, but they needed Germany to believe the invasion would come at Calais instead. If the Germans concentrated their forces at Normandy, the invasion could fail catastrophically and tens of thousands would die. Agent GARBO was given the most important mission of the entire war: convince Hitler the real invasion was coming at Calais. Agent GARBO was given the single most important and critical mission of the entire war effort: convince Adolf Hitler and German high command that the real invasion was coming at Calais, not Normandy. Phantom divisions, ghost tanks, entire armies that did not exist anywhere, all preparing to invade at Calais. On the night before D-Day, Garcia sent an urgent warning to Germany saying the invasion was imminent at Calais. When the Allies landed at Normandy on June 6, 1944, the Germans were caught completely off guard. But Garcia did not stop the deception. On the morning of D-Day, he sent another critical message to German high command. He reported, "Normandy is a diversion. The real invasion is still coming at Calais. Hold your forces there." Hitler believed him completely, and personally, he held back an entire panzer army from Normandy, waiting for the Calais attack. For weeks after D-Day, those tanks sat idle while the Allies secured the beaches and broke through German defensive lines. Military historians estimate that Agent Garbo's deception saved thousands of Allied lives and shortened the war by several months. Military historians and strategists estimate that Agent Garbo's brilliant deception operation saved many thousands of Allied lives and shortened the duration of the war by several months at minimum. Germany never knew they had been deceived. They believed Agent Garbo was their loyal spy until the very end of the war. Juan Pujol García disappeared after the war. He faked his death again, this time to escape both German revenge and public attention. He lived quietly in Venezuela for decades doing ordinary work, and the world thought he was dead the entire time. He lived quietly in Venezuela for many decades doing ordinary civilian work, and the entire world thought he was dead the entire time throughout those years. The man who had convinced Hitler he was dead twice had been alive the entire time in quiet anonymity. Living proof that the greatest weapon in war is not steel or explosives, but controlling what the enemy believes is true. This living proof demonstrated conclusively that the greatest and most powerful weapon in war is not steel or explosives or technology, but rather controlling precisely what the enemy believes is true. And a single person lying well enough with British support moved armies that entire divisions could not defeat through force. 27 agents who never existed anywhere convinced Hitler to make the worst strategic decision of the entire war. The Germans sent money to a widow who did not exist for a man who had never lived anywhere. Garcia received no public recognition for decades, the invisible hero who saved thousands of lives through deception. The complete records of Operation Garbo remain filed in British archives showing every false report that moved German armies. The spy who faked his death twice, once to deceive Hitler, once to disappear from history entirely. What does it fundamentally mean when the fate of millions of people depends entirely on whether one person can lie convincingly enough to make an enemy believe the impossible is true?